Morning, everyone. Uh, Today I'm with my partner, Benedict Adrian, Yeremia Habakuk. We will present about the preferential trade agreement. Before we go to the explanation, I will show the types of preferential trade agreement. Types of PTA. First is GATT, Article XXEF, FTA, an agreement on the part of a sea of countries to eliminate trade fluctuations among themselves. The second is GATT Article XXEL, an agreement on the part of a set of countries to eliminate trade fluctuation among themselves and to adopt a common external tariff. And the third is enabling clause. Description about enabling clause is allows PTAs in goods trade among developing countries. And the last is GATS Article 5 or fee. The description is an agreement to reduce barriers to trade in services among a set of countries. And next is about the steps of the region integration. First, the type of free trade area is an agreement on the part of a set of countries to eliminate trade fluctuations among themselves. And second is customs union, an agreement on the part of a set of countries to eliminate trade fluctuations among themselves and to adopt a common external tariff. The third is common market, is agreement on the part of a set of countries to eliminate trade regulations among themselves, to adopt a common external tariff, and to allow the free movement of labor and physical capital among member countries. And monetary union, a common market that adopts a common currency and adopts a common monetary policy. And the last is economic union, a monetary union that adopts a process of thematics, policy, policy. And the last is economic union, is a monetary union that adopts a process of thematics, policy, harmonization in areas such as tax and spending policies and domestic regulation. The video and as listed in first table before yang I was explaining to you, there are four ways in which a PTA can occur under Article XXEF of the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade GATT 94 covering trade in goods. A, a PTA can be noted be as either a free trade area or as a custom unions. As we know in the second table, both of these PTA types involve the member countries eliminating trade restriction among themselves. The difference between the PTA and CU option is the latter involves member countries stabilizing a common external tariff, or we can say the CAT. And the Article XXEF of the GATT requires that WTO members who wish to form VTAs or CU must meet certain requirements. So first is trade barriers exchange non-members cannot be higher or more restrictive than those in existence prior to the VTA or CU. And the second is the VTA or CU must be formed within a reasonable length of time. And the last is the VTA or CU must eliminate the trade barriers on substantially all the trade among the members. So, uh, PTA is, uh, I will explain to you about the economic effect of preferential trade agreements. So, shared between the concept of trade creation and trade diversion in PTA. Trade creation occurs when the formation of a PTA leads to a switching of important imports from a high cost source to a low cost source. No. So, finer distinguish between the concept of trade creation and trade diversion in PTA. Trade creation occurs when the formation of a PTA leads to switching of imports from high cost source to a low cost source. So the the trade diversion occurs when imports switch from a low cost source to a high cost source. As we will now. So trade with thinner distinction between the concept of trade. So thinner distinction between the concept of trade creation and the trade diversion in PTAs. Creation uh, occurs when the formation of a PTL leads to a switching of imports from a high cost source to a, a source. So, final distinction between the concept of trade creation and trade diversion. In PTA, trade creation occurs when the formation of a PTL leads to a switching of imports from high cost source to a low cost source. And trade diversion occurs when imports switch from a low cost source to high cost source. And the trade creation tends to improve welfare, whereas trade diversion tends to worse welfare. And let's merge the creation and trade diversion in this. And the trade creation switching of imports from a high cost source to a low cost source tend to improve welfare. And the trade diversion is switching of imports from a low cost source to high cost source tends to worsen welfare. And the next is I will show you the cool trade creating PDA between Brazil and Argentina. And the Brazil is B, Argentina is A, and El Salvador is S. So we are here we will illustrate the concept of trade creation and trade diversion using the absolute advantage model, and we are going to consider two countries. I was explain to you Brazil, El Salvador, and Argentina, which is an included excluded non-member PTA that involves trade creation is presented in this figure. We take the perspective for the same good. Brazil can import the good from Argentina at price B here, and 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 from hmm, and from El Salvador at price PS here PS. Uh, the crucial point here that Argentina is the lower cost producer comparison with El Salvador. So before the PTA, Brazil has in place specific per unit tariff of tea on imports from both Argentina and El Salvador because PA plus T PS plus T Brazil imports the goods from Argentina and the initial import level is ZB. Once Brazil joins the PTA with Argentina, the tariff is removed on imports from Argentina. Clearly, PA T kurang dari because PA plus T less than PS plus T. Brazil imports the good from Argentina and the initial import level is ZB once Brazil joined the PTA with Argentina. The tariff is removed on imports from Argentina. Clearly, PA less than PS plus T, so the good continues to be imported from Argentina. The imports will, however, expand from ZB to ZBPTA as the price falls from PA plus T to PA price falls from PA plus T to PA. As a result of the PTA with Argentina, consumer surplus in Brazil increased by area A plus B plus C plus D. Producer surplus falls by A and government tariff revenue falls by C12. Then the net increase in welfare due to trade correction is B plus T. Good continues to be imported from Argentina. The import, however, expand from ZB to ZBPTA as the price falls from P plus P to P. And as a result of the PTA with Argentina, so whether the next welfare effect in this figure is the positive or negative value depends on the relative size of B plus non curve. Here, a trade differential PTA between Brazil and Argentina. We note here is areas A, B, C, and D extend vertically between P and PS plus T. So whether the net welfare effect in this figure is a positive or negative value depends on the relative size of B plus D. And area B plus D represents the trade grading effect of switching imports from the higher cost source of Brazil to the lower cost source of Argentina. However, area E represents the trade diverting effects of switching imports from the lower cost source of El Salvador to the higher cost source of Argentina. If the trade diverting effects outweigh the trade creating effect, if E more than B plus D, then the PTA will reduce welfare in Brazil. What should uh, we do? What should we take from the proceeding decision of trade creation and trade diversion? Let's this PTS can be either welfare improving or welfare worsening. Whether a PDA is welfare improving or welfare worsening is something that must be assessed on a case by case basis, based on evidence of the relative strength of trade creation and trade diversion. So, as a consequence of the above, assessment of PTA are often made using more sub sophisticated and numerical version. In first uh, curve and the second curve, there is trade economics uh, are often called on to mathematically model the effect of PDA. If you are involved with the assessment of PDA in any way, you might need to interpret the result of such modeling exercise. Each of the chapter in so that's all for me. Will continue. It will continue by my friend